The small, sleek Xylaran ship floated silently in the vast darkness of space, its silver hull reflecting the distant light of a yellow star. Inside, the Xylarans, a peaceful and curious species known for their diplomacy and intelligence, were busy analyzing the strange new signal they had intercepted. It was coming from a small blue planet orbiting the star, Earth. The Xylarans had encountered many species during their travels across the galaxy, and most of them were either primitive or uninterested in exploring beyond their own worlds. However, this signal was different. It carried a sense of urgency and purpose, a kind of determination that intrigued the Xylarans. They decided to make contact. Commander Xylith, the leader of the Xylaran expedition, stood tall in the command chamber, her pale blue skin glowing softly in the dim light. Her large almond-shaped eyes blinked slowly as she reviewed the data on the humans. They are a young species, she noted, her voice calm and melodic. But there is something unusual about them. Primitive, perhaps, said Alon, the ship's science officer, as he adjusted the holographic display in front of him. Their technology is not as advanced as ours, but they have made significant progress in a short amount of time. It's almost as if they are constantly pushing the boundaries of their own limitations. Xylith nodded thoughtfully. We must approach them with caution. They may not fully understand our intentions, and we must ensure that our first contact is peaceful. Prepare the communication link. We will speak with their leaders. As the Xylarans prepared to make contact back on Earth, the humans were completely unaware of the visitors in their orbit. In a small control room deep within NASA's headquarters, a group of scientists and engineers were huddled around a monitor, staring at a strange blip on their radar. That's not one of ours, said Dr. Thompson, the lead scientist, scratching his head in confusion. It's moving too fast and too quietly. Could it be a glitch? Negative, replied one of the technicians, his fingers flying over the keyboard as he ran diagnostics. All systems are functioning normally. Whatever it is, it's real, and it's not from Earth. Panic and excitement mixed in the room as the realization hit them. They were not alone. For years, humanity had wondered if there was life beyond their planet. Now it seemed they were about to find out. Before the humans could send out a signal, a soft chime echoed in the room, and the monitor flickered. Calm, soothing voice filled the air. Greetings, inhabitants of Earth. We are the Xylarans, travelers of the stars. We come in peace and wish to establish contact with your people. There was a moment of stunned silence. The humans exchanged looks, trying to process what they had just heard. Dr. Thompson was the first to recover. This is Dr. James Thompson, speaking on behalf of Earth. We welcome you and appreciate your peaceful intentions. Xylith's voice responded with warmth. Thank you, Dr. Thompson. We have observed your species and are impressed by your resilience and curiosity. We wish to learn more about your world and share our knowledge with you. As the conversation continued, the Xylarans were careful to avoid revealing too much about their own technology and culture, focusing instead on asking questions and listening to the humans' responses. They were intrigued by the humans' determination to explore despite their limited resources and the many dangers they faced. The Xylarans had expected to find a species that was either fearful or overly aggressive, but the humans were neither. They were cautious, yes, but also eager to learn and understand. This surprised Xylith, and she made a note to report her findings to the Galactic Council. As the initial contact came to a close, Xylith couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to these humans than met the eye. They were a young species, but they possessed a spark that she had rarely seen in others. It was a spark that could either lead to great things or terrible destruction. Only time would tell. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, representatives from dozens of alien species gathered. The hall, a massive structure floating in deep space, was filled with the hum of quiet conversations. Glowing orbs of light floated overhead, illuminating the room in a soft golden glow. The topic of discussion that day was a new species, humans. Seated at the center of the council was Supreme Chancellor Varric, a tall, imposing figure from the Vrelkian race. His scaled skin shimmered in the light as he addressed the assembly. We have received reports from the Xylarans regarding their recent contact with a species from a small planet known as Earth. These humans, as they call themselves, are young and relatively primitive. However, they have shown surprising adaptability and intelligence. A murmur spread through the room as the various representatives exchanged glances. Many of them had never heard of Earth, let alone humans. To most of the galaxy, Earth was a backwater planet of little significance. Ambassador Krith of the Drakthar, a fierce and militaristic race, spoke up, his deep voice resonating through the chamber. These humans may be adaptable, but they are insignificant. Their technology is decades behind ours. If they pose any threat, it is a minor one. We should focus our attention on more pressing matters. The Xylaran representative, Ambassador Nyla, leaned forward, her expression serious. Do not be so quick to dismiss them, Krith. We have seen their ingenuity firsthand. They may lack advanced technology, but they are resourceful. They defeated a Drakthar fleet using tactics we had not anticipated. If we underestimate them, we could face serious consequences. Krith sneered. A fluke, nothing more. The Drakthar fleet that was defeated was a small one, sent only to test their defenses. If we wanted, we could crush them with little effort. These humans are like a fly, annoying but easily swatted. The council members nodded in agreement. Most of them shared Krith's view, seeing humans as a minor annoyance rather than a real threat. But Nyla remained unconvinced. She had seen something in the humans, something that the others had missed. There was a fire in them, a drive that she had rarely seen in other species. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the humans were unaware of the debate raging in the Galactic Council. They were focused on their own survival, working tirelessly to reverse engineer the alien technology they had acquired. Scientists and engineers pored over the Xylaran and Drakthar tech, their minds racing to understand and improve upon it. In a secure underground facility, Dr. Sarah Patel, one of Earth's leading engineers, was overseeing the development of a new type of energy weapon. If we can integrate the alien energy cores into our existing weapon systems, we'll have a chance against any future attacks, she said, her eyes gleaming with determination. But Dr. Patel, one of her colleagues, said hesitantly, we're still years behind their technology. Even with this, we're outmatched. Maybe, she replied, but we have something they don't. Creativity. We think differently. And that's our advantage. As days turned into weeks, Earth's defenses grew stronger. The humans had taken the alien technology and transformed it, creating weapons and ships that were a strange but effective mix of human ingenuity and alien power. They knew that the Drakthar and others would not leave them in peace for long. True to their fears, another Drakthar fleet soon arrived, larger and more powerful than the last. This time they expected an easy victory, but as they descended upon Earth, they were met with a fierce resistance. The humans had anticipated their attack, using their new weapons to devastating effect. In the aftermath of the battle, the Drakthar were forced to retreat, their pride wounded. News of the humans' victory spread quickly across the galaxy, shocking those who had dismissed them as insignificant. The Galactic Council was forced to reconsider their stance. Supreme Chancellor Varric called for an emergency session of the Council. It seems we have underestimated these humans, he said, his voice heavy with concern. They are not the primitive species we thought they were. They are a force to be reckoned with, and we must decide how to deal with them before they become a true threat to our power. As the council debated, Ambassador Nyla watched quietly, a small smile playing on her lips. She had known all along that the humans were different, and now it seemed the rest of the galaxy was beginning to realize it too. The stars shone brightly in the cold, dark void of space as the human fleet prepared for another mission. No longer the underdogs, humanity had quickly adapted to the harsh realities of interstellar conflict. They had formed alliances with other species who had also suffered under the dominance of the Galactic Council. These species, once too afraid to stand up for themselves, now looked to the humans for leadership. Captain Elias Carter, a veteran of Earth's first encounter with the Drakthar, stood on the bridge of his ship, the Resolute. The ship was a marvel of human ingenuity, a fusion of Earth's engineering and the advanced alien technology they had acquired. Its sleek design and powerful weapons were a testament to how far humanity had come in such a short time. "All systems are go, Captain," reported Lieutenant Maria Sanchez, his trusted second-in-command. "The fleet is ready to jump to the Zendari system on your command." Elias nodded, his expression grim. The Zendari were one of the many races oppressed by the Galactic Council, their world a resource-rich planet that had been exploited for centuries. Now, they had reached out to the humans for help, hoping to break free from the Council's control. "Let's get this done," Elias said, his voice steady. We need to show the Council that their days of tyranny are over. As the fleet jumped into hyperspace, Elias reflected on how much had changed. The Galactic Council, once an unchallenged power, was now in disarray. The humans had struck fear into their hearts, not with sheer numbers or superior technology, but with their unpredictable strategies and their refusal to back down. When the fleet emerged from hyperspace, the Zendari homeworld loomed ahead, a beautiful blue-green planet surrounded by a ring of Council warships. The Council had anticipated the humans' arrival and had brought a large force to crush them. But Elias was prepared. He knew that brute force alone wouldn't win this battle. "Deploy the drones," he ordered, a plan already forming in his mind. The drones, small, agile, and equipped with cloaking technology, zipped out of the human ships, heading straight for the Council's fleet. The Council ships, expecting a direct assault, were caught off guard when their sensors began to fail. The drones, using technology that the humans had developed by studying alien systems, hacked into the enemy ships, disrupting their communications and targeting systems. "Fire at will!" Elias commanded. The Resolute and the other human ships unleashed a devastating barrage of energy beams and missiles. The Council ships, disoriented and unable to coordinate their defense, were quickly overwhelmed. Explosions lit up the dark space as one by one, the Council's warships were destroyed or forced to retreat. The Zendari, witnessing the destruction of their oppressor's fleet, cheered as the humans pushed forward. With the Council's forces in disarray, the humans landed on the planet and quickly secured key locations, freeing the Zendari from their long-standing tyranny. As the dust settled, Elias stood on the surface of the Zendari world, looking out at the horizon. The Zendari people gathered around, their eyes filled with hope and gratitude. For the first time in generations, they were free. "You've given us a chance to rebuild," said Kalor, the leader of the Zendari, as he approached Elias. "We will not forget what you've done for us." Elias nodded. "We stand together now. The Council's grip on the galaxy is weakening, but they won't give up easily. We'll need to keep fighting, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who wants to live free." Back in the Galactic Council chambers, the news of the humans' victory sent shockwaves through the assembly. The Council members, who had once dismissed humanity as a minor nuisance, were now forced to confront a new reality. The humans were not just a threat. They were a force that could reshape the entire galaxy. "We can no longer underestimate them," said Supreme Chancellor Varric, his voice grim. "They are not just fighting for their own survival. They are inspiring others to rise up against us. If we do not act soon, we will lose everything." The tides had turned. The humans, once seen as insignificant, were now leading a revolution that threatened to topple the old order. And as more species joined their cause, the balance of power in the galaxy began to shift. But Elias knew that the battle was far from over. The Galactic Council still held vast resources and power. The fight for the future of the galaxy had only just begun. The Galactic Council chamber was eerily quiet, a stark contrast to the usual bustle of diplomatic activity. The Council members, representing the most powerful species in the galaxy, were gathered in secret, their faces tense and filled with unease. The humans, once underestimated and ignored, had become a genuine threat, and their influence was growing rapidly. Supreme Chancellor Varric, his scaled hands clasped tightly behind his back, addressed the Council. "The humans have proven to be far more dangerous than we anticipated. They have not only defeated our fleets, but also rallied other species to their cause. If we do not act now, they will dismantle everything we have built." The Council members murmured in agreement. The recent defeat in the Zendari system had been a humiliating blow, and whispers of rebellion were spreading across the galaxy. The humans were inspiring hope among the oppressed, and that hope was becoming a weapon more powerful than any fleet. Ambassador Krith of the Drakthar leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with malice. "The time for diplomacy is over. We must eliminate the humans before they become unstoppable. A direct assault on Earth would crush their spirit and send a message to all who dare to defy us." But not everyone agreed. Ambassador Nyla of the Xylarans, who had initially advocated for peaceful contact with the humans, felt a growing sense of guilt. She had seen their potential, their ingenuity, and their determination. What had started as curiosity had turned into respect, and now she was torn between her duty to the Council and her conscience. "We cannot simply destroy them," Neela said. her voice filled with hesitation. "The humans have allies now, and an attack on Earth would provoke a full-scale war. We risk plunging the entire galaxy into chaos." "Then what do you suggest?" Varric snapped, his patience wearing thin. Nyla hesitated, knowing the risk of what she was about to propose. "Perhaps there is another way. We could offer them a false alliance, a treaty that appears to be in their favor. Once they lower their guard, we strike, but not with force, with betrayal. We turn their allies against them, sow discord within their ranks, and weaken them from within." The room fell silent as the council members considered her words. It was a cunning plan, one that appealed to the more treacherous instincts of the council. A few nods of agreement followed, and Varric, after a moment's contemplation, gave his approval. "Very well," Varric declared. "We will proceed with the plan. But remember, if we fail, there will be no turning back." Meanwhile, back on Earth, the humans were celebrating their recent victories. Captain Elias Carter and his crew had returned to Earth as heroes, and the mood in the command center was one of cautious optimism. The Zendari, now free from the Council's oppression, had formally joined the human-led coalition, and other species were following suit. But the celebration was short-lived. As Elias stood in the command center watching the latest reports from their new allies, an urgent message came through. It was from Ambassador Nyla, and her tone was grave. "Captain Carter, I must speak with you privately," Nyla said, her holographic image flickering before him. Elias frowned, sensing the tension in her voice. "Of course, Ambassador. What's going on?" "I don't have much time," she began, glancing nervously around her. "The Council is planning something dangerous. They intend to offer you a treaty, but it's a trap. Once you accept, they will betray you and your allies, turning them against you." Elias's eyes narrowed as he processed the information. "Why are you telling me this? Aren't you part of the Council?" "I was," Neela admitted, her voice heavy with regret. "But I've seen the truth. The Council only seeks to maintain its power at any cost, even if it means destroying innocent lives. I can't stand by and let that happen. You have to be careful, Captain. Trust no one, not even those who seem to be on your side." Before Elias could respond, the transmission cut off, leaving him staring at the empty space where Nyla's image had been. He quickly gathered his officers, knowing that they needed to act fast. "We've been warned about a possible betrayal," Elias informed them, his voice firm. "The Council is going to offer us a treaty, but it's a trap. We need to prepare for anything: diplomatic maneuvers, sabotage, even assassination attempts. We can't let them divide us." The room buzzed with tension as the officers nodded in agreement, their minds already racing with contingency plans. The humans had come too far to be undone by deceit. A few days later, the Galactic Council formally extended an offer of peace to Earth, promising an alliance and an end to hostilities. The message was received with cautious optimism by many, but Elias and his inner circle knew better. They accepted the offer publicly, but behind the scenes, they tightened security, reinforced their alliances, and prepared for the worst. As the humans and their allies gathered for the treaty signing on a neutral planet, Elias watched every movement, every expression, with suspicion. The council members smiled and shook hands, but Elias saw through the facade. He knew the real battle was about to begin, not with weapons, but with trust and betrayal. And when the council made their move, trying to incite rebellion within the human ranks, they found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Nyla's warning had given the humans the edge they needed. The council's plan backfired spectacularly, and the seeds of distrust they had sown among the humans and their allies only served to unite them more strongly against a common enemy. As the council's influence crumbled, and their members began to turn on each other in desperation, Elias knew that this victory was not just one of strength, but of cunning and foresight. The great betrayal had been turned against the betrayers, and humanity stood on the brink of reshaping the galaxy. The Galactic Council Chamber, once a symbol of unchallenged power and authority, now lay in ruins. The grand hall that had once hosted the most powerful beings in the galaxy was empty, its walls scarred by the battles that had torn the council apart. The once mighty Galactic Council had fallen, brought down by the very species they had dismissed as insignificant: humans. Captain Elias Carter stood at the center of the chamber, surrounded by representatives from the many species that had joined humanity's cause. The air was thick with the weight of history. The humans had not just survived, they had prevailed. But now came the hardest part, building a new order out of the ashes of the old one. Elias looked around at the gathered leaders, each of them representing a world that had suffered under the Council's rule. Some were scarred from battle, others still healing from the wounds of oppression. But all of them had hope in their eyes. "We have won the war," Elias began, his voice echoing through the chamber. "But the work is far from over. We must ensure that what we build here today is better, fairer, and more just than the system we've overthrown. We cannot replace one tyranny with another." The leaders nodded in agreement, but there was still uncertainty. Many of them had spent their entire lives under the Council's rule, and the idea of a galaxy without it was both exhilarating and terrifying. "We need a new system," said Kellor, the leader of the Zendari. His voice, once filled with fear, now carried strength. "One that values the voices of all species, not just the powerful. We cannot allow the mistakes of the past to be repeated," Elias agreed. "A council of equals, where each member has a voice, regardless of their species' size or power. Decisions must be made together, with transparency and fairness, and we must protect the rights of the smaller, less powerful species, ensuring they are not overlooked." As the discussions continued, a new vision for the galaxy began to take shape. The old Galactic Council, with its emphasis on power and control, would be replaced by a coalition of equals. Each species, regardless of their technological advancement or military strength, would have a say in the new order. The focus would be on cooperation, shared knowledge, and mutual defense against any threats that might arise. Ambassador Nyla, who had played a crucial role in warning the humans of the Council's betrayal, spoke up. "We must also ensure that the mistakes of the past are remembered. We cannot allow history to be forgotten, or we risk repeating it. Education and cultural exchange must be at the heart of our new order." The others nodded, understanding the importance of learning from the past. The new order would not just be a political alliance, but a cultural and educational one as well. Species would be encouraged to share their histories, their knowledge, and their traditions, fostering a galaxy of mutual respect and understanding. As the plans were finalized, Elias felt a sense of pride and hope. The humans had fought hard to earn their place in the galaxy, but they had not done it alone. Their strength had come from their allies, from the unity and trust they had built together. And now, that unity would be the foundation of a new era. Weeks later on Earth, a great celebration was held. Representatives from across the galaxy gathered to witness the official formation of the new Galactic Coalition. The event was broadcast across all known worlds, a symbol of the new unity that had been forged. Elias, now a revered leader among the coalition, stood before the crowd, his heart swelling with emotion. "Today, we begin a new chapter in our shared history," he said, his voice filled with determination. "We have proven that when we stand together, we are stronger than any force that seeks to divide us. The future is ours to shape, and we will shape it together." The crowd erupted into cheers, a mix of human voices and those of countless other species. The galaxy, once divided by fear and oppression, was now united in hope and purpose. As the celebration continued, Elias looked up at the night sky filled with stars. Each one represented a world, a people, a story. And now, for the first time, those stories were being written together in a galaxy where every voice mattered. The new order had begun, and with it, a future of endless possibilities. The humans, once underestimated, had not just survived, they had helped create a better galaxy for all. And in that moment, Elias knew that they had truly won, not just the war, but the peace that followed.